What's up, Honolulu Blues listeners? This episode is sponsored by the app Autograph. Use the code GOLIONS, one word, when you sign up. The only app that scours all social media platforms to bring you all of your favorite team's content, keeping you as up to date with the Lions news as Dan Campbell himself. Autograph also has fee-free tickets. Yeah, you heard me. Stop buying $100 tickets with $300 worth of fees added on top. It's time we start to normalize not paying for fees on our tickets. Go to the app Autograph to get your fee-free ticket. Autograph's co-founder, Tom Brady, is also giving away a signed TB12 football. To get entries to win it, just go to Autograph and play in their Survivor Pool Weekly Challenge. Earn an entry for every week you correctly guess an NFL team that will win. If you lose one week, no biggie. Just come back next week and try again. Earn up to 18 entries, and maybe you will have a Tom Brady signed football at your house. Just download the app Autograph and use the code GOLIONS. Hey, welcome in to our fun-filled, spooktacular November 1st episode of the Honolulu Blues, brought to you by Peak and Autograph. You can also always go to athletelogos.com and get some personalized t-shirts and hoodies. I'm Nick. Below me is Mr. Burns. Und das ist Julius, our resident Germany. How'd I do right there? Did that sound pretty German?
It sounded perfectly German, my friend.
That's what I like. Und das ist Julius. I practiced that today. We're going to be dissecting the Lions versus Titans beatdown, Jamo meets World, and a look ahead to the Lions versus Packers this Sunday. But first,
greetings and welcome. I want to play a game.
That's right. I want to play a game. Here's how this game is going to work. I am going to bring up a picture of an old Detroit Lions quarterback, and the first person to guess it right, no buzzing, no nothing. If you talk over each other, I'm the judge, like it or not. Whatever I hear first, I'm not really going to be able to see you guys, so I'm just going to listen. Whoever guesses it first correctly wins. You only get one guess. And there's 5 quarterbacks. Let's see who wins. So let's see if I can get this pulled up here. And then.
Love it.
All right. Hold on. Actually, let's not do that. Let me do this. All right. There we go. Now we are going to, I'll make this look better in due time. But for today, this is what we're going with. Let me get that shared up. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. The first player. All right, ready, go.
Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle is correct. 1 point.
That man bun threw me off.
That's what I saw that.
The man bun gave it away for me.
Oh, I never knew Tim Boyle was a man bun guy. Never knew that, dude. Never knew that. All right, Julius up 1-0. We got 4 more to go. Everybody ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right, ready? Go.
Sean Hill.
No.
What?
Does Julius take a guess?
How is that not Sean Hill?
That is not Sean Hill. That's why I put him up here, though. You got 5, 4, 3.
And that looks new, too.
1. Julius, give me a guess.
Mike.
Mike, no, it is not Mike. It's a Michigan quarterback, boys.
Oh, Jake Rudock.
Oh, Jake. Oh, that was a good one. That's a good one.
All right, so still Julius 1, Adam nothing. We got 3 more to go. Everybody ready for the third one?
Let's shoot.
Where is it? Ready?
John
Sean
Kidman?
Hill.
No, Sean Hill.
It's Sean Hill. Who said that? Adam?
Yep.
Oh, 1-1 with 2 to
Oh,
go.
wow.
There's your Sean Hill. I had to try to cover his 14 because I knew once I showed 14, you'd be like, Sean Hill.
Oh, that was sneaky. That was sneaky.
All right. Let's go to the fourth one. We got 2 more left. 1-1.
Julius couldn't see underneath that Spider-Man mask.
I
It's
went
getting
back
hard. It's getting hard.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle is correct. I
Oh,
forgot
sorry.
he was
No,
I
even
didn't even know
alive.
he was a lion, but I
I
just know that
forgot.
thing.
I was going back through the
That was
history
hard.
book.
That was hard, Nick. That was hard.
All right, 2-1, Adam, and this is our last one. Can Julius at least save himself to make it a tie? And here we go.
Dante Culpepper.
Oh, that was a tie.
No, there's no way I didn't say it first.
Oh, that was a tie. Adam wins. 2-1-1 is the final score. 2-1-1.
That was awesome.
That was a fun game.
In case anyone was wondering what my costume is, I am actually Mr. Incredible Lions fan, or the Incredible Lions fan.
Oh, that's smart, dude.
So I got
Incredible
my
fan.
Lions helmet on, my Lions chain, and I got my weapons of mass destruction, baby.
They are masters. Or get the towel.
Like, I'm telling you, man, you get whipped in one of those, forward.
That's why Adam's wearing his helmet.
I'll destroy some eyes with these.
I didn't even get to let us showcase our awesome outfits. Julius already took his off. It was too much. What were you? You were Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was Spider-Man. I just couldn't see the quarterbacks at first. I was lucky to get the
usually
first guy, but it started to get blurry. I was trying to give myself a chance there at the end.
Oh, the Rolodex of excuses comes out. I am Jameson Williams, and we are the Honolulu Blues. Let's dive into some of that news that I was talking about. Breaking news! Breaking news! Yet again, another week and another headline for our young star, Jameson Williams.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
All right, yeah, Jamo is our resident bad boy. This time, while in the middle of serving a 2-game suspension for violating the performance enhancing substance rule, Jameson Williams broke back into our timeline late Tuesday night as a report came out about the Detroit Police Department investigating why Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams avoided arrest after a gun was found in the car, which in turn could end up giving Jameson Williams a 3rd suspension in just 3 years. But with this type of thing, normally NFL will let the actual law play out before handing out any punishments, i.e. Rashee Rice. But Julius, how you feeling about our young Waymo?
The more that happens, Nick, the more that stacks up on top of each other, from the injuries to gambling to drug suspension to gun suspension to gun stop. It's worrisome, bro. It's worrisome. Availability is the best availability. And right now, he is putting that in trouble. He can have all the talent in the world. He could be as fast as he want to be, but he ended up just like Deshaun Jackson or any of the other, career pop-offs, because you cannot pay these guys. You cannot pay Jamo. I love you, bro. You are him. You are literally him. But we cannot pay you $100 million if we have to worry about anything, bro. Like anything. DraftKings, like gambling, anything, guns, hanging out in the wrong place. We weren't worried about the Coney Island visits on 6 Mile, 7 Mile? I'm worried about that now. I am worried. I'm thinking about, is Jamo hanging out with the wrong people? Bro, it's different. He might, like Amon-Ra. I'm glad we got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm glad we got our anchor there, that who we paid, who we can rely on, who's responsible, can be an example for Jamo. Because right now, I'm worried about Jamo.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna just go same question right to you, Adam. Same question. How are you
I've been
feeling?
going back and forth on this. Jamo, these three things that he's done: the gambling, the performance enhancing substance, and the gun issue. Um, it's all like he did the lightest possible offense to like make a headline out of it. Like he was sports gambling in a hotel room. He wasn't, actually betting on himself. He was taking a performance enhancing substance. He wasn't taking an actual, PED drug where he could have got a 4-6 game suspension. He didn't get charged for having a gun on him when he might or could have. I don't know. There's a whole issue going on with the Detroit police. They pretty much just kind of let him go. And I do believe that he wasn't in much of wrong. His brother, there was 2 guns in the car. His brother had CPL for both the guns, registered to his brother. But the problem was the gun was underneath Jamo's seat, making it in his possession. Therefore, he would need a CPL. So it's like, Jamo, just you're a superstar. Have someone, make you that card. I doubt you even have to take a class to get that. So get that done. But these are like little offenses that if they were the max offense, this dude might not even be in the NFL, where, like I mentioned, if he was gambling on himself, if he was taking, legit performance enhancing drugs, or, if he was, carrying around a gun without the correct permits and got popped for it, then those are all serious suspensions. And yeah, it does concern me, but oh man, I feel like he keeps getting away with all these things just like by the skin off his neck, it's just barely getting by with the light stuff. And hopefully this is like someone's talking in some sense to him, saying, hey, these could be a lot worse if, you did one other little thing instead of, betting on other teams. If you bet on yourself, obviously you might have known better to do that, but you guys get my point. These little things, he's at the bottom of these bad, law breaking. I don't know what's called, but he hasn't done the full extent. And I don't want to get to something where he does the full extent. Like a great example is like a DUI. We've seen so many receivers get DUIs, and even Henry Ruggs have killed a lady and her dog. Now he's in jail. I would hate to see Jamo go down a path like that. It would break my heart. And I think, Dan Campbell has a lot of faith in him. It seems like he has the right group around him, but yeah, hanging down at 7 Mile, going to those Coney Islands, it's a little head scratcher. But Jamo, if you want to carry a gun around you, that's no problem. We saw what happened to Ricky Pearsall, Josh Reynolds, both of those guys, shot in broad daylight or at night. So it's like, hey, you're in Detroit, you want to protect yourself, that's fine, but just have the right permits, the right stuff. Don't be open carrying, be smart. And I think this is kind of like his final straw of you're not going to get away easy on the next mistake you make.
Both of you guys had really good points there. I'm well impressed with both of your statements on that. Better than I could have said. I'm not too nervous about it. I don't think anything will come of this. To me, Jamo is now just one of the biggest things that you can come up with in Detroit. So if you want clickbait, like go publish something about this. Like, what was it? WXYZ had no need to even publish this. Like, this is an internal investigation that's happening at the DPD. They just want to try to bring a young man down. I hate to see it. I think we got Jamo for 5 years. 2 of them have already happened. We're in his 3rd year right now. We do not have to extend him. This will play into like what money he's going to get. And I do not want to lose him because I do think he's that good. But we won't have to face that for another couple years. For now, if nothing comes about this, then just another headline, just another topic for us to talk about. But ultimately, I don't think of anything bad that he's done. He's just in the wrong place, wrong situation, in my opinion. So we'll see. But let's move on. Let's go to Sunday's game against the Titans. So the Lions basically had their way with the Titans, but it wasn't always that way. It was 14-14 at one point. There was some bad, there was some good, there was some great. So just like last week, let's break into them. Let's start with the bad. Adam, it seems that any team the Lions play, can highlight their wide receiver one, and that dude will catch like 250 on us, and it's disgusting. Calvin Ridley had 10 catches for $143. Are you concerned at all about our pass defense against wide receiver ones?
I am and I'm not, because I swear it seems like the last probably 8 games this has happened, we've won them all. So it really seems like this is some sort of Aaron Glenn interesting way to go about games, where it's like, hey, instead of, having a quarterback have a normal passing game with 3 wide receivers, we're just going to funnel it all to your top wide receiver, making you guys think you're dominating us, making your wide receiver one think he's racking up all these stats, when in reality, you're still probably trailing by 14. So it's an interesting just kind of stat that's kind of really reoccurred, and it's almost like a given now that the wide receiver one is going to pop off. And granted, Calvin Ridley, he had like 115 yards in the first quarter. It was insane. And then he slowed down a lot. So I think adjustments play a lot into this. We have rookie Terrion in, I guess Carlton as well, who's a little more experienced, but still the pass rush is kind of not to the point where a quarterback has to make a quick decision. If Hutch was there, I feel like some of these wide receivers wouldn't be popping off as much. I sure do not think Calvin Ridley would have had even 100 yards if Hutch would have played. Rudolph would have felt much more pressure. If you get the time to throw, you're gonna be able to find your number one target. And I think that's what Aaron Glenn's been kind of doing. And I can't really explain it, but whatever he's doing, it's working. So I'm, don't change it. It looks weird, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, if they let the wide receiver one get 250 yards weekly, as long as we win by 40 every week, I'm all right with it. It don't bother me none. Julius, Lions had one of the most prominent run defenses in the NFL, pretty much one of the best run defenses the NFL had ever seen. But since the Hutch injury, the Lions have allowed Aaron Jones to rush for 93 yards and Tony Pollard to rush for 96 yards. Just how concerned are you about our rush defense in the absence of Aiden Hutchinson?
A little bit. The stats are concerning. I mean, we gave up 4.9 yards per carry to the Titans, who can't hold our jockstrap in a run game battle. No disrespect to Tennessee. They're just not on our level of competitiveness.
It's true. But
we gave up 4.9 yards per carry, 158 yards. I'm worried because we're going to see Josh Jacobs this week. Josh Jacobs is tearing up everything in the NFL right now. That offensive line is humming along. It's perfect. He could eat us up in Lambeau. Josh Jacobs could eat us up. I know we're going to talk about it later. It's one of the things I'm worried about. My number one key to victory. But Josh Jacobs is a worry, and it's because we don't have Aiden Hutchinson. And I'm waiting on somebody on the outside of the offensive line to contain these running backs. They're hitting the off right where Hutch is usually at. They're hitting those corners, and I just hope that maybe our linebackers can step up a little bit more, but very worrisome.
Yeah.
Very worrisome. The Lions' run defense, which has been a strength as long as Dan Campbell has been a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like we haven't lost our interior D-line, and it's just Hutch was just that good. Like you could see the stats on like pass rush, but you can't ever see stats on defensive line against the run until they're gone and you see what happens. And it's just, that's how important Hutch was. All right. And I lied. There was nothing good. Everything the Lions did was basically great last week. It was fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs took over the game from start to finish, finishing with 11 touches, 127 yards, an 11.5 yard per carry average, and a 70-yard Sonic-like touchdown. Adam, I asked this last week, and I'm going to ask you again. Is Gibbs the best running back in the NFL? Not 1A, 1B, 1C. Is he the best yet? Yes or no? And just how happy were you with Gibbs' performance last week? Ooh, a good mute action for my man, Adam.
It was awesome. I blame the people in the back that someone came in the house. Anyways, that 70-yard touchdown run was sweet. I had been waiting for that ever since we drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. I knew it was inevitable. He was going to rip off a touchdown right when we got the kickoff or right when we got the ball, the 10, 20, 15-yard line. And sure enough, he did. He showed how fast he was, reaching 22, I think like 0.03 miles per hour. He was absolutely flying so fast that it's the fastest speed for any Lion this season. It was, I think, the second fastest speed on the season. Only Brian Thomas Jr. beat him, and it was by like 0.3 of a second. It wasn't much, but Jahmyr Gibbs, man, I think so. It's so like, here's my take on it. I think Henry can do whatever Gibbs can do, and Gibbs can do whatever Henry can do. They just do it in different ways, where Gibbs might be able to shake a dude and go 80 yards. Henry could just hit a hole, go 80 yards, or run someone, stiff arm someone and go 80 yards. So for me, I think, yeah, I would take Gibbs right now. He's younger. I believe he has more upside. I do think he's right on the same talent level as Henry, but if we were drafting running backs all over right now, I think everyone takes Gibbs that first running back because he just looks so explosive, so electric, and he's really starting to show that, long run ability with these last two games. First running back with 40-yard runs since Barry Sanders in back-to-back games as well.
Ooh, that's a fun stat. That's a real fun stat. Just a follow-up question real quick. Are you at all bummed about Jahmyr Gibbs' usage? 11 attempts. Could be the best running back in the NFL. 11 attempts last week.
No, I'm not. It's been working. So as long as the wins are coming and, Montgomery, it's like I have no problem having Montgomery get a 50-50 timeshare. I have as much faith in Montgomery as I do Gibbs, especially on short yardage plays. And Gibbs, if he stays at this, 10 to 15 touches a game, then I think that's fine. He seems to be that he's, it's working for him where it's not as much work. It's almost like a Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott or Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. That's literally the perfect one. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram when Kamara was in his first or second year, maybe both years, and Kamara just looked electric. Mark Ingram was that bruiser. I think had like 15 touchdowns that year, and they were just 1A, 1B. And that's Monty and I was about to call him Sonic and Knuckles right now. So
I love it. Speaking of dual-headed monsters at a position, it was tight ends day last week. And golly gee, was it a smashing success in Detroit. Sam Laporta led the team with 6 receptions, led the team with 48 yards, and had a touchdown thrown to him from David Montgomery. And Brock Wright was able to catch a touchdown. Julius, just how happy were you to see our tight ends flourish on tight end day? And are you happy with the usage of Sam Laporta, or do you still expect a little bit more from him?
I was extremely happy with the usage of our tight ends on National Tight End Day. Specifically speaking, that I'm a former tight end myself, and one of the best in the city of Warren high school history.
Yeah, boy.
I'm just going to put that out there live on air. Any listeners?
Yeah, boy.
Hit me in the mentions if you got anything to say. My senior year, I dominated all y'all bums. But anyways, it was great to see Laporta and Wright do that on National Tight Ends Day. And it figures. I'm actually starting to believe that Sam Laporta's usage is strictly tied to Jameson Williams. I'm starting to believe that, guys. I'm starting to see it being connected. We're on days where Jamo isn't really featured or he's not there, like this last week. We're going to be looking at Laporta more. We might even look at Wright a couple times. But when Jamo's out there, when we're doing a little Twitch gadget plays and we're trying to get him his 5 to 6 targets a game, Laporta lacks. Which doesn't always mean he won't get his spare touchdown trick play a game, but it's just we got so many weapons. It's just more of a part of the equation. But I just think that those two are connected. It's just Ben Johnson, man. They run everything off the run game and offensive line. But those receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the safety valve. But Jamo, Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Tim Patrick, they're all kind of. I feel like Sam Laporta is part of that. I don't think he's his own special weapon. You know.
Got you. We listed Sam Laporta as like I think 7th or 8th most top valuable player for the Detroit Lions before the season. Julius, would you stick with that right now, or did we overvalue him after his rookie year for the Lions? Not to say he's bad, not overvalue or anything like that, but is he the 7th most important Detroit Lion or no?
We might have overvalued him a little bit.
We 100% did because we left off David Montgomery.
Yes,
David Montgomery should 100% be on that list.
I don't know if Kirby may have been late, but yeah.
I think Kirby was left off too.
Woo! We're going to have a fun one next year. That's how we do it.
Kirby, I'm sorry. Public apology. I'm sorry, Kirby.
Yep, I agree. That was on us.
Kirby is important.
That's why we do it, though. That's why we do it. All right, guys. I don't know if we would have scored 52 points if it wasn't for our amazing return game. The return game went wild. Leaf was 15 yards away from an NFL record of punt return yards in a single game. Leaf finished with 5 returns, a $190 yards, and a return touchdown. He also caught a touchdown. And Khalil Dorsey had a 72-yard kickoff return. So, Adam, just tell me how you felt watching all of these special teams plays, and how much did our game ball recipient, Khalif Raymond, impress you?
So the special teams looked so good that by the time Khalif Raymond got that punt return, I was expecting it. I was like, oh, baby, there's the lane. He is housing this. And sure enough, he made a couple dudes miss, just weaved in and out, found the open spot, and hit it. And I don't know what the special teams coordinator is on the Titans, but that dude's bad. He did not have his boys in order. It seemed like the first time was sweet Dorsey, kick return, and then it was a Khalif Raymond long punt return where they were both nearly could have been touchdowns with just a little more blocking, a little more, speed. I think it was Dorsey or Khalif on the first one. One of the two, you could tell they were running out of gas. And it wasn't just them. It was the linemen that were trying to get out in front. Like the linemen were like, we're going as fast as we can, man. And Dorsey or Leaf just had to kind of either pick, all right, I got to go left or right around these guys or else someone's going to catch me from behind. And I want to say the kicker or punter forced them out, but man, oh man, it was awesome. I think we have a great special teams group on punting, kicking, punt return, kick return. We have phenomenal punter, phenomenal kicker, great kick returners, great punt returners, and I am so excited for when we get a big Khalif return or a big Khalil Dorsey return in a big game where, a team just answered us, tied the game up late in the fourth quarter. They kick it off with 5 minutes left. Then Khalif just takes it down to, the 30-yard line, the 20-yard line, something crazy. So special teams firing on all cylinders.
I have a follow-up for you, Adam. Have you ever – okay, let's start. Did you watch the game ball giveaway, the post-game?
No.
You didn't?
I missed it, no.
Oh, well. All right, Julius, did you see that with when he gave the game ball to Khalif and Dave Phipp?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Dave Phipp talk before?
No, I've never heard him talk before, but now I fully understand why he's the Lions special teams coach. Fully understand.
He's crazy. Adam, you need to go watch it, dude. When Dave, I didn't know what to expect out of Dave.
Players and the Lions, this team has a hell of a lot of players.
That's great.
He's very. He personally thanked Dan Campbell for giving him life by being a special teams coach for the Lions.
Yep.
I'm impressed.
I was so impressed with Dave Phipp. He's going to be a head coach soon. I guarantee all of our coordinators are going to become head coaches. Even Mark Brunell will become a head coach, our quarterback coach, like Calvin Shepard will. Just everyone who's coaching the Lions will become a head coach at one point. All right. Kirby Joseph come away with the pick. Carlton Davis had a great game. Amik Robertson had 2 punch-outs, 2 peanut punches. I like to start calling them Amik punches now. Terry Arnold played well, had a big third down stop on Calvin Ridley, did ultimately allow 95 yards and a touchdown. It wasn't Arnold's best game. But just curious, Julius, is this secondary good enough for a nickname? And if so, what kind of nickname would you give them? And then just how did you feel watching this secondary last week?
I don't know if they're good enough for a nickname. At this point, I would say the safety duo is probably more deserving of a peculiar nickname than the secondary as a whole. Terrion Arnold still has a lot to prove. Amik Robertson, he makes plays, but he's the nickelback. And Carlton Davis, we've got a lot of penalties in the secondary in our corners. I don't think our corner confidence is as high as our safety confidence. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, two of the NFL's leader in interceptions, two of the highest graded defensive backs in the league this year. I mean, they're carrying our team. They're both very important, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. We don't want to lose neither. I don't know if we can give this secondary a nickname yet. Just based off, I feel like the cornerback performance isn't on par with the safety performance, and the Legion of Boom had all four guys booming.
Yeah, and it's fair because you can't manifest the nickname; it comes organically. And I was just wondering if we were there yet, but we got.
I love the Detroit
with
people mover for the offensive line. That's an earned nickname.
That's great.
Works.
That's great, dude. The people movers, dude. I love that. All right, rock and roll. We just got a couple more for this recap here. Trevor Nowaski got his first career interception. The Lions defense is tied for second in most takeaways this season with 15, only behind Green Bay, who has 19. And we're tied for second in turnover difference at plus 10, only behind Buffalo, who is plus 11. Adam, do you still feel a trade for an edge rusher is needed?
Yes, I think just something, man. Even if it's not Zadarius Smith, there's another dude. It's like Al something.
Sharpton?
Oh. No, he's defensive end on. I want to say the
Bundy?
Titans, maybe Titans or Saints. I don't know. But anyways, regardless, I just want to see something, anything. It's not that I'm, haven't been impressed with the boys. Levi has looked good. He actually, I believe, had his best career game yesterday or Sunday.
Feels like yesterday.
Paschal is banged up, which, stinks. I think we can't just bank on. Levi is obviously injury prone. Yes, there we go. Aziz from the Colts. All right, that's where he's from. So anyone small, big, something. Do not want Chase Young. I don't care what his stats are right now. I've seen him a couple plays. He just doesn't look good. And I feel like wouldn't quite fit the culture of the Lions. But I do hope we get someone. The pass rush, it was weak against the Vikings, and it's hard to take in account against the Titans when they have a subpar quarterback who isn't a good, decision maker, isn't, firing the ball off real quick. And then you have an offensive line that's been beat up all year going against, the Lions. So I feel like they looked a little bit better against the Titans than they will against the Packers. I think this will be the real telltale. Do we know when the trade deadline? Isn't it next Tuesday?
November, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it is Tuesday. It's right after next week. But regardless, it is coming up, and I do think we have just this Packers game left until the trade deadline comes. So I want to see something. Secondary's been good. I feel like Brad Holmes, I trust him enough to be able to give up a draft pick and then be able to, make a good pick with the 6th, 7th, 5th round picks and, not need all these draft picks, I guess.
Awesome. To answer your question, it is November 5th, Tuesday, voting day. Make sure you go out and vote. Everyone, doesn't matter who you're voting for. Just go out and do it. It is our right. It is what our founding fathers fought for. Take advantage of it. Julius, before we get to your next question, did you want, yes or no, don't dive deep into it. Do you think we still should trade? We need to trade?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear. All right, we're both on the yes. You're both on the yes on that. I still and have been this whole time saying no, we do not need to trade for anyone. If you desperately need someone, give me a call. I'll be in there lickety split. The Lions spread the ball around better than any team has ever in the NFL history of the game. It's just unbelievable. 6 different players found pay dirt last week. Ben Johnson didn't even get to use all his tricks per Khalif Raymond in his game ball speech. And that was due to all the short fields that we gave him through defense and special teams. We did see Monty throw a touchdown, but the only cool trick play we got to really see. Julius, question of the day. Adam, you'll have a chance to answer as well. Would you trade Ben Johnson for anything? Would you trade him for Myles Garrett? Would you trade him for Max Crosby? Would you trade him for Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa? Any player would you trade Ben Johnson for right now? Because he could be gone next year. He could leave us next year and we just are out. And you can trade coordinators. So would you trade him for an edge rusher right now this year?
No, I would not trade Ben Johnson for an edge rusher. I wouldn't trade him for an offensive lineman. I wouldn't trade him for an Aaron Donald level defensive tackle. I wouldn't trade him for a Rob Gronkowski level tight end. I wouldn't trade him for a Patrick Mahomes level quarterback.
That's what I was looking for.
Maybe I would trade him for 5 first-round picks.
Maybe. I love that. Adam, did you want to get in on that answer as well? It's a fun question.
Yeah, definitely. That is interesting because, yeah, you can trade coach. Oh, my gosh. Wow, that would be – I don't. Has there ever been a coordinator traded?
I don't know. I know head coach. I know John Gruden's been traded and whatnot, but I don't know about a coordinator.
Actually, in season. Oh man, that would be insane. But honestly, it would be like Pat Mahomes would probably be the only player I would do a straight up trade for, or like Julia said, give me the 5 first-round picks. And even then, like, I would only do Pat Mahomes if we had a plan for Goff too, where we could trade Goff for 2-3 first-round picks or something. The next thing we do, we get Pat Mahomes and 2-3 first-rounders for Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, and Dan Campbell finds his new Ben Johnson or something, because I trust him. He was the guy that promoted him, gave him the shot. So, and also another Ben Johnson little tidbit. I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys know how he got to Detroit?
No, please enlighten me.
Matt Patricia hired him.
Matt Patricia was like the death that had to come to Detroit for us to respawn, right? We needed to die with Matt Patricia so our body could go in the dirt and start growing these beautiful bouquet of flowers. You know what I mean? We needed Matt here.
But yes, the only good thing Patricia did for us. It's like Patricia gave us Ben Johnson in a way, and Bob Quinn gave us Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker. So we'll take it for those 4 or 5 years of misery.
Yeah, for real. I would trade those 4 or 5 years of misery for the team we have right now over and over and over again. But that was the game on Sunday against the Titans. We wally-lopped them 52-14. Nostradamus Julius damn near predicted it yet again. We'll get to that later on in the show. If you're curious on who's winning our fun predictions game, make sure you stick around. It'll be the last thing we do. Now, let's get to this Detroit Lions versus Green Bay Packers game coming up this Sunday at 4:25 Eastern, the game of the week. We get Tom Brady on the call, Clete Blakeman as the referee, who we all know was the one who called the phantom face mask against Trey Flowers against the Packers in Lambeau, which led to them losing trailing all of regulation, but then winning the game against us. It was sickening. The Lions currently sit 6-1 and are in first place of the NFC. The Green Bay Packers are 6-2 and are right behind Detroit in the NFC North. This game will be played at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. All right. Let's go over a little bit of the player news here to start, and then we're gonna go over some topics about the game itself. For the Lions, we're gonna be without wide receiver Jamison Williams. Goff practiced after missing a practice, but he's suiting up. Pascal didn't practice due to illness. Pascal remains unable to practice as he tries to get his body back on track following a concern that was what'd you say?
Pascal, Martin, and Rodrigo have all been ruled out, and Vaki and Wingo are doubtful.
Perfect. And did you get why Pascal was out?
No.
So listen to this. Pascal remains unable to practice as he tries to get his body back on track following a concern that was identified during one of his annual cancer screenings. Fortunately, Pascal has said it's not long-term and he hopes to be back soon. Pretty interesting note right there in case no one knew that. Any of these injuries really stick out to you, Adam, though?
Not really, no. The one injury that, man, I feel like it's just taken so long is, boys, when are we going to get Iffy back, man? He was put on IR, I think at least 4 weeks ago. He's just still been sitting on IR. He was a guy that, was looking like only going to miss a game or two. And then it was 3 games. And then it was 4 games. And then it was like, well, we should probably put this guy on IR. Now we're already into week 9. And he's still on IR. There's been no, he's looking ready to practice. So if he want him back out there, Rodrigo, that one kind of stinks. He has been playing a lot better these last few games, especially since Barnes went down. Pascal didn't play last week. Didn't seem to miss him a lot, but he did have a sack, I think, a couple weeks ago. So, he could make a play or two. Martin hasn't really played a lot. And then Wingo and Baki, same thing. Rookies kind of just, dealing with their injuries.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So that's good news. We want to keep it that way, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's how we want the Lions injury report to go every week. We had Adam get the Detroit Lions injury report, and we had Julius get the Packers injury report. So, Julius, anything you can tell us about injuries from Green Bay?
Well, guys, we're looking at a couple starters for the Packers. Safety Evan Williams, looking like he's not going to play. He's been ruled out, which leaves rookie Javon Bullard to start in his place, unproven. He's been playing a lot of nickel. He's going to move over to free safety. Could see some challenging times for Evan Williams and Lambeau. We're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to be covering a lot of Sam Laporta. Also, starter Josh Byers on the offensive line. Look like they're going to have Elgin Jenkins move from guard to center. That's worked for the Packers before against the Lions. I don't know if you guys remember a couple times. They've had to move around pieces on that line. It's worked for them. However, I don't know if it's going to work this week because quarterback Jordan Love is questionable. Even though he's trying to talk himself into being probable, right now he's very much questionable. He was looking doubtful earlier in the week, so he's a solid questionable. We don't know if we're going to have him or Malik Willis. Either way, the Packers are good at winning, partially because a guy named Jair Alexander, cornerback for the Packers, he has not practiced this whole week. He is questionable as well. That would be huge. He usually covers the best slot guy on the other team, and that happens to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. And also cornerback Corey Ballantyne, also questionable with an ankle. Josh Jacobs, questionable, but looking like he's going to play also with an ankle. They need him. He's their entire offense. Without him, they're dead. And that's about it for the Packers. They have a very concerning, but I feel like the Packers injuries don't really matter. It's kind of a rivalry game we're looking at where the injuries we've seen backups, third stringers, Matt Castle. What's the guy that got
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn got a $100 million contract off one game against the Lions. This Packers-Lions rivalry has a lot of history, so you never know who can step up. But that's the injury report looking a little bit more concerning for the Packers than the Lions.
Which we like that. We appreciate you boys bringing us the injury breakdown. Let's get back to the game. The Packers and Lions are battling for the 190th time. All right, the Packers hold the all-time record with 106 wins, 76 losses, and 7 ties against the Lions, 30 games over 500. The first ever game played between the Packers and the Lions. Boys, you guys got any guesses?
1964.
And what'd you say, Julius?
1940.
It is 1930 when the Detroit Lions were the Portsmouth Spartans playing the Green Bay Packers. November 2nd, so tomorrow will be the anniversary of the first ever game played between the Packers and Lions. We are 10 games away from it being 9 games away. It'll be the 200th game. Very fun rivalry. Goes back as far as your great-grandparents. Detroit's won 4 of the last 5, with the most recent one being that loss last year on Ford Field in Thanksgiving, ruining yet another Thanksgiving for me and my family, creating this riff where I do not talk to them all night after like 3 o'clock and eating. Adam, is this going to be the toughest game for the Detroit Lions so far this season?
I think so.
Okay.
I want to say no, just because the Bucs already beat us. But the Cowboys looked like, they could be a team to worry about. We dismantled them. The Vikings looked like a team to worry about once the season started, and we, kind of handled business with them. And then everyone else has kind of been average, below average as teams. Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm trying to think. Drop lights. But
It's so great that you call the Cardinals and Seahawks average to below average because they're playoff teams. They're going to be playoff teams. And to us, they just look like fucking infants. You know what I mean? Like they look like middle schoolers trying to play us. It's great.
But yes, I do think it's probably the most important game for sure.
Okay.
Toughest team, probably, I would say, depending on how Jordan Love is. I personally would rather see Jordan Love play even if he was 100%. There's something weird about Malik Willis that he's won every start. I mean, he's only started, I think, 2 or 3 games, but then he came in for relief for Love last week and won the game for him. So there's something clicking with him and Matt LaFleur, and I don't want to see any more of that. We've seen Love, we've scouted Love, we're expecting Love, and give me Jordan Love. So toughest team, I think so. Especially it being in Green Bay, I think that actually does put the cherry on top of it being the toughest team because we were home against the Bucs, and they still got some solid playmakers like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, who's now coming on as a solid tight end. So I think it'll be a good challenge for the Lions, but I'm still in the confidence range I was for the Cowboys game where you were pretty comfortable.
I love that. I do agree with the idea of not wanting to play Malik Willis, like just backup quarterbacks against the Lions. Julius brought it up earlier. Like, let's just not deal with that. Let's not deal with that, dude. Let's just play Jordan Love. Julius, will the winner of this game be the best team in the NFL?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, the winner of this game will be the best team in the NFL. I give it to the Packers right now, live on air. If you can beat the Lions this upcoming game, the Lions right now, I got strangers walking up to me telling me that my team is the best team in the NFL. Never happened before in my life, fellas. Never happened before. If the Packers can shut us up, because the Lions are confident right now, boys. They are confident. They're playing with swagger. They know they can knock you in the mouth, knock you down. They're some fucking bullies. If the Packers can fight that back and win, they're the best team in the league.
Well, that's fair.
We forget about the Chiefs. What's going on here?
Are the Chiefs the best?
Ain't worried about
Their
the
quarterback
Chiefs.
leads
Ain't
the
worried
league in interceptions. Are they really that good, or are they just
You're
playing?
not going to see the Chiefs
schedule?
until the Super Bowl if you do see them.
Dude, they're a cupcake schedule with the worst division in the NFL, dude. They're frauds. They're full-on frauds. I am not worried about them, dude. Not at
It
all.
would shock me though if the Chiefs went like 15-2. And
They could go 17. Have you seen their schedule? Their hardest team is like Buffalo. Like that's and outside of Buffalo, after that, it's like Denver. It's like Bo Nix or Jim
Chiefs
Harbaugh.
not beating teams 52-14.
Yeah,
They're not massacring the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah,
They're not
that's kinda
doing
how
what
I
the
think
Lions
about it.
doing right now. The Lions are the best team in the NFL right now.
I would agree.
Yes, yeah, I agree. But where my point was going, if the Packers beat us, I would probably say the Chiefs over the Packers. But I would say the Packers are the best team in the NFC.
And that's fair. And that's why I asked of the NFL. I would agree with Julius. The winner of this game is if the Packers go out there and beat us in Lambeau and then play Kansas City the next week, I would bet all of my money that the Packers, well, not the next week because anyone that plays the Lions lose the next week, but I would say that the Packers are better than the Chiefs at that point. But that's just me. Julius could answer. Adam, do you like the 4:25 start time? And regardless, yes or no, I am curious of your opinion on that. If you got to choose the Lions start time every single week, so every single week, 17 weeks, NFL season, There was one. They played at one time, but you got to pick whether it was Thursday night, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Sunday night, or Monday night. Which would you choose?
I would probably do the 4 o'clock, just because I like to watch most of the teams play and the 1 o'clock window, see what's happened. And I don't know. I'm still, putting all eyes on the Lions, regardless of where they play. I will say 4 o'clock kind of does run into dinner a little bit, but yeah, I would probably say 4 o'clock. Just red zone, the 1 o'clock games, not prime time every week. So it's not, if it's an overtime game, you're not having to go to bed at 11:30, 12 o'clock. 4 o'clock or probably the 1 p.m. So you can't go wrong with the 1 p.m. game. And also, too, real quick update on the Chiefs. Yes, they have a cupcake schedule as they play the Bucs next without any wide receivers, Broncos, the Bills, who are tough. Then they play the Panthers. Somehow the Panthers got on their schedule. Raiders, Browns with Jamo, and the Texans are pretty much their only other hard team. And the Texans kind of looked bad against the Jets.
Texans only look good against good teams. Chiefs might go undefeated, and it's going to be the funniest thing ever when we beat them in the Super
first
Bowl.
Wild card game. They're going to get the bye, and they're going to lose to
Oh no, they're going to get to the Super Bowl. Like they're going to beat Lamar Jackson, and people are going to be like, "Whoa, the Chiefs, they're undefeated. They beat," and then the Lions are going to come in there and just fuck him up. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be great.
The Lions. Oh, that would be so just beautiful if the Lions hand the Chiefs their first loss of the season after they're trying to go for the first ever three-peat. Oh.
It wouldn't that and like undefeated, full on undefeated, like it'd be so great.
Oh, that too. Oh man, that would.
Julius, is Green Bay your most hated NFC North rival?
Yes.
Over Chicago?
Yes.
Why?
Because they enjoy the opposite of what I have suffered through for the last 30 years of my life.
Okay. That's fair. That's
some
fair.
Of my worst memories as a Lions fan coming to the hands of the Packers.
Most definitely, dude. Most definitely. And that goes all the way back to the 90s. All right. That was all of that. Let's get to our 3 keys to victory. I'm going to start with it, boys. Number 1, feed Jahmyr Gibbs. He's the best running back in the NFL. If you want to win this game, you feed him. Yes, obviously you want to win the running battle with Monty and Gibbs. That's it. Monty can get every carry inside the 20-yard line, 15-yard line. Gibbs needs to have every carry in between or before the red zone. Gibbs is the best running back. Make sure that he gets the ball fed to him. Dan Campbell, go be MCDC. Go give me a fake punt. Give me some kind of crazy thing where you're just like, what is he doing? This is a hard game. That's when he likes to pull them out. I believe in Dan Campbell. Don't shy away from it. Keep being you. That's my number 2. Dan Campbell, be Dan Campbell. And number 3, create pressure via the scheme. Obviously, our talent and our players are not there, but we need to create pressure on Malik Willis or Jordan Love, whomever it may be. And that's going to come from scheming from Aaron Glenn. Get the linebackers and the safeties and the corners blitzing, continue to blitz, do whatever you have to do to force pressure and not wait for it to come organically. So create pressure via scheme. Those are my 3 keys. Adam, what are your 3 keys to victory?
Key number 1, interceptions. Jordan Love has thrown an interception every game he started this year, including 2 and 3 in 2 games out of the 6 he started. So 1/3 of his games, he's thrown double-digit interceptions. I believe we need 1 to have a good chance at winning. I think 2 interceptions. If we get 2, I think that should do it. Unless, the Lions absolutely pee down their legs, which could happen. But 2 interceptions. And then the grounded pound. I don't care if it's Monty. I don't care if it's Gibbs. We saw what happened in Lambeau last year. Montgomery, 3 touchdowns. I want to say Gibbs was out that game.
No, he played, but it was just his 3rd game of the year. We didn't rush him. Okay. He had 8 carries for 40 yards or something. But Monty had 32 touches, 3 touchdowns that first game in Lambeau.
And then 3rd, I want Amon-Ra to establish his dominance in Green Bay, as last year he I just had a good game overall. Had a touchdown. He blew the fans the kiss. He got the beer dumped on him. And I do feel like there's some rivalry. I hope so bad Amon-Ra gets a touchdown and just Lambeau leaps that shit so hard that it's like, we can't push you out because you're a dude in a full, uniform falling into us type, a celebration. So I want to see Amon-Ra do something like that, or have Amon-Ra run over to a small side booth like the 49ers did with Juszczyk, George Kittle, and someone else. They ran all over to their wives and girlfriends and jumped into their box. If Amon-Ra's girlfriend, Jahmyr Gibbs' girlfriend, and whoever, fiance's girlfriend's wives, get into a box and do a Lions Lambeau leap in Lambeau, I think that would be awesome. So those are my 3 keys to victory.
I love that. Julius, round us out on our keys to victory. How do the Lions win?
The Lions win by, number 1, stopping the run game. That's something they've been doing, something that they kind of got away from the last couple of weeks without Aiden Hutchinson, something we need to get back to. Because Josh Jacobs could drop 180 yards, 3 touchdowns on our heads, and we lose. Contain Josh Jacobs, shut down the run game, number 1. Number 2, win a turnover battle. The Packers are one of the best teams in the league at taking the ball away, but so are the Lions. What team has to be better at it? Preferably the team that wins, preferably the Lions. 3rd key to victory, quiet Lambeau Field, quiet the Cheeseheads, the Packers faithful. Kill their hopes. You know how you kill the hopes of a fan base? By blowing them the F out. Like 52-14, what you did at Tennessee. The Titans fan base immediately start looking at mock drafts. At halftime, do that to the Packers. 3 keys to victory.
I love it. Those are how the Lions win. Let's wrap this show up with our very fun and always entertaining The Game That I Suck At. All right, we got our game predictions here. We, as usual, will pick a team to win the game, the score that it will be, and then an offensive MVP and a defensive MVP. Even if the best player on the Lions isn't one of the guys we chose, we choose who the best guy is of the people that we chose. If the team that we predicted wins do not win, then the score becomes irrelevant. That happened a few weeks ago, so we are done with that. Let's go into last week where I predicted the Lions would win, and that was about all I did correctly. So good for me on that one. I got 1 point. I had Jared Goff and Aleem McNeil. They did not do anything. Jared Goff, in fact, had his worst game of all time the week I picked him. So way to go, Jared Goff. Julius had the second pick. He wins with the Lions. He predicted 42-14, not 52-14. Incredibly close, though, with what the score really was. Incredible. Julius is on a tear predicting scores right now. He also got offensive MVP correct with Jahmyr Gibbs. But Brian Branch lost our fan vote. He did not get defensive MVP. That went to Carlton Davis, who was Adam's defensive MVP. And if I'm not mistaken, that is his 5th defensive MVP correct prediction. Way to go, Adam. You're kicking butt in defensive MVP. Adam also had the Lions winning, so he gets 2 points. Julius got 3 points. I got 1 point, which leads the full total score. I'll be going first with 11 points in last place. Adam will be going second with 14 points in second place. And Julius will be going third because he won last week. He is also winning the whole competition with 15 points. 1 point over Adam, 15-14 to 11. And I'll go first. I'm going to pick the Lions win. The Lions will beat the Packers 30-20. And our offensive MVP will be Jahmyr Gibbs. And the defensive MVP will be Kirby Joseph. Adam, you're up. No Gibbs, no Kirby.
All right. Well, since you took Sonic, I am going to have to take Knuckles. So give me David Montgomery. Did it last year, 3 touchdowns. I don't think he'll get 3 touchdowns this game, but I do think there's a great chance he gets 2. So, and you never know. Also, too, real quick question before we get into it. Who's going to be the first 3 touchdown single game scorer first? Boys, any quick guesses? I know we predicted this once, but
we did predict this. We did, and I think I have the prediction written down somewhere. I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna go Amon-Ra St. Brown against the Packers this week. Ooh. Even though I didn't predict him for OMVP, I'm just gonna predict that. Cover all the bases, you know.
I think Gibbs he's due, man. He had 2. He's had early 1 quick. He's got that 70-yard rushing ability. I think it's gonna come in a time where the Lions have given Gibbs 2 already. They're up by 14, and we're just running the ball. The next thing you know, he rips one off for like 60 yards.
I like that.
Julius.
Any predictions on who will be the first person to score 3 touchdowns in a game?
I mean, I think it's going to be Gibbs too. I probably get the Monty just based off handoff production, but I think Gibbs can be the one that can give you 3 the quickest. 2 receiving and 1 rushing or something like that. It's just Gibbs is the guy.
That's fun. I like it. That's a good question.
But back to my predictions. Offensive guy, Knuckles, score prediction. I'm going to go 28 to 24. Lions victory.
Defensive MVP?
Defensive MVP. You took Kirby.
I did.
Oh, I think we see a bounce back game for Brian Branch, who played all right, but did have a couple little slip ups. I want to say he did have 1 defensive pass interference. And also, speaking of pass interferences, Cleve Leekman is the number 1 referee who calls the most on DPIs, and the Lions are leading the league in DPIs, and the Packers are leading the league in most DPI yards for them. So, a classic NFL situation where they give us the worst referee. Also, Cleve Leekman reffing interdivision teams. When they interdivision teams when they play, the home team is 22-12, 65% win rate with Cleve Leekman. But these are the new Detroit Lions, baby, and I feel like we are going to see some crappy calls go against us. But it's just not going to be enough, and you cannot have enough holdings and penalties to make up a 14-point loss, even though I predicted the Lions to win by 4. But you get my point. Brian Branch, that's who I'm going with.
I love it, dude. I love it. Let's run through a wall. Julius, wrap us up here. Who you got?
So for score prediction, I'm going Detroit Lions.
Let me just
20
place my live score prediction.
What'd you say, Julius? I'm sorry.
Nostradamus right here. Lions 27, Packers 21.
All right, everyone go to ESPN Bet or FanDuel or DraftKings and put all of your money down on that, or at least like 5 of them close to it. You know what I mean?
And it's funny, the last 2 I predicted blowouts, they were true. So we'll see how true this one is. Not a blowout. Predicting kind of a close game, 27-21 Lions. With me picking last in MVP votes, it's slim pickings. I think this is my first last vote of the year. It's rough sledding out here. For offensive MVP, if I can go between a skill player that's left, like Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta, I'm just going to go Jared Goff. He is the MVP of the NFL right now, for God's sakes. Defensive MVP. Slim pickings, because y'all took our boys, the safety duo of the year. Y'all took them away from me, man. Give me a Lee McNeil. Big fella in the middle, number 54. Josh Myers out, we mentioned, center for the Packers. They're going to be doing some moving around. Look for Lee McNeil to cause damage in the middle.
I love it. Adam, take us home, brother.
As always, we are the Honolulu Blues _ on Twitter. Honolulu Blues, just normal on YouTube and Spotify and all that good stuff. Give us a like, subscribe. We appreciate it all the supporters, all the day one people. Shout out to all the people leaving comments. Check us out individually at the Fifth Top for Julius, Nick Faber NFL for Nick, and Honolulu Blues _, for myself and the whole team, I guess. But as always, go vote too. Before I say magic words, go vote, go vote. A few more days left. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. Your vote does matter. Don't think it doesn't. And as always,
Go